and getting ready for the reality of that.
Yeah, and Ginger, you and I have talked about this, and you told me that probably one of the greatest accomplishments professionally that you've been able to achieve is that by writing this book, by putting yourself out there, and the one before it as well, you've heard from people who say, you saved my life. There are so many lessons in this book for everyone, as you point out, but especially for people who are suffering, as you have, from several different diseases that you go into to talk about that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Where do you start? Where does the healing begin?
I went into meteorology so that I could save lives. Like, I loved my atmospheric science because it was a puzzle that I could put together and then warn people that tornadoes were coming. I realized that my talent is in communicating that science. What I realized, too, is that as I was going through my own personal tornadoes and hurricanes of mental health, once I started feeling that healing, I was able to communicate how the healing can happen because that's a talent of mine, and it's a science, right? Psychology is a science, and so the healing really started in realizing that I had a story that was worth deserving to be told, and that I was worth it. Right there, the healing began.
And our appreciation always to Ginger Z for sharing her story, that important conversation, and the book a little closer to home, How I Found the Calm After the Storm, is available everywhere that books are sold. I want to remind our viewers as well, if you're a loved one struggling, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255, or you can text TALK to 741-741 for free confidential emotional support 24 hours a day. People need to know you are not alone.
That's good luck right there.
Janet Stewart is the ice queen of TikTok.
They've made fun of me for years because I like snow so much. I guess it was inevitable. At 40, I become, you know, TikTok famous for freezing pants.
Frozen pants.
With the pants out front. Hold on.
Frozen eggs.
It's this cold.
And frozen spaghetti?
I mean, come on.
The neighbors are probably like looking through the blinds like, are you seeing this?
What is she doing again? I mean, if you can't have fun and you can't laugh at it, like I said, I'd just cry and be miserable and my tears would freeze and...
Janet is no stranger to the cold. Born in South Dakota, moving to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, now living in Minnesota with her husband and daughters.
As a kid, you love it, right? And then as you become an adult, people get so grumpy about the snow. And I'm like, you know what? No, we just need to spread some joy and some positivity and some love. And I don't know. So I'm glad everyone else is getting a kick out of it.
Janet laying on the Yooper accent extra thick for TikTok. Yooper, as in UP for Upper Peninsula.
We don't scoop snow in the UP. You move snow from point A to point B because it doesn't go anywhere. Move the snow.
Janet says even when it's freezing outside, it's tough to have a bad attitude with a Yooper accent.
Make the vowel like longer. So it's Fargo and they talk slower a little bit. So you kind of have to slow it down, you know? So the funny thing that they have people say is the boat show at the Fargo Dome. It's like the boat show at the Fargo Dome, hey?
So the next time you're tired of the winter weather, channel your inner Yooper Janet.
I just want someone to smile. I want them to laugh. I want them to have fun. I want them to, you know, realize that you don't have to be so serious in life. You can have fun.
TikTok's ice queen, warming hearts with some good old-fashioned laughter.
Why you got to be so cold?
Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
Our thanks to Will, but that video makes me want to go to the beach. But you're from Minnesota. Does that make you feel like right at home?
I can talk about that accent, Minnesota. You know?
Yeah. Did you ever do any experiments like that?
We did the frozen egg. It's fun.
Frozen nights.
The father and his twin boys beaming with pride. All of them America strong. Tonight, the remarkable moment. The former Marine Ranger, Captain Derek Herrera, in the wheelchair. His 4-year-old twins watching.
Whoa.
They watch as their father stands up. For the first time, he does it in front of them.
You're lucky!
Hudson and Hunter, amazed.
Are you walking?
I'm about to. What do you think?
Tall!
Every time you stand up.
We have followed Captain Herrera for years. Leading his team on patrol in Afghanistan, he was shot by a sniper in 2012, paralyzed from the chest down. Afterward, the grueling recovery, the rehab. In that moment at Bob Woodruff's Stand Up for Heroes, when Captain Herrera was about to walk across the stage with Rewalk, exoskeleton technology.
I'd forgotten what walking was like until I put this device on and start walking again.
And tonight you're going to surprise this audience.
Yeah.
And he did it. Tonight, still relying on that technology to this time stand up before his sons.
You want to try going outside? Yeah.
And tonight here,
David,
we check in with Captain Herrera again.
when I stood and heard Hudson say to me how tall I was and that I could take a step and he was coaching me along, it really made me understand his perception of me and how he saw me and how he didn't see my paralysis or the fact that I use a wheelchair as a limitation.
And tonight, his hope.
I hope that you question any perceived limitations you may be encountering and make 2022 an epic year.
Well, we salute Captain Herrera right along with his boys.
ABC News, America's #1 news source.
August 14, 2021 was the day that the life turned upside down for me and for so many other girls in Afghanistan.
I could hear other girls crying, and I could see that they were really disappointed.
People falling from planes, reports of others being killed in an attempt to flee the country. Thousands swarm for visas and passports for themselves and their loved ones, as many women hide in fear of the Taliban takeover.
We received texts from women on the ground in Kabul, terrified that they will no longer be able to escape.
It's 5 a.m. and I can't sleep tonight. Just can't. Too much horror. Like me, there are hundreds of girls who lose their job. Their education became worthless, and their dreams were buried alive. Unfortunately, he killed my parents. I have been kept asking for help for humanitarian visa, but could not get a help. I am broken, actually very broken.
I'm just texting the girl whose parents were just killed by the Taliban, and she's sending me, she's all alone in Pakistan, and she's afraid because her cousins are Taliban members and she thinks that they're gonna come and target her.
Sarah Little has been speaking with these women trapped in Kabul, trying to escape the country. Her nonprofit organization, More to Her Story, is a community and safe space for young women and girls around the world to share their stories and highlight issues important to women globally. For those on the ground, the situation intensifying quickly.
Like any other normal day, I started getting ready and go to work. It was around 11 o'clock that I heard gunshots, and I came out of the office to see what was happening, and I asked people and they say Taliban are in Kabul. I have not been out of the apartment after that.
Even Sarah is facing challenges on how to communicate with women in Kabul safely.
I'm just letting every girl who I've been speaking with over the past week know to delete our conversations as soon as they can. Taliban have been randomly stopping people just walking down the street to check their phones, smashing their phones.
My family and I were hiding in the house and didn't even dare to go to the window. The sound of gunfires and bombs could be heard from everywhere. The electricity was cut off and the internet was not working properly. My sister and I were so frustrated that we just cried. We heard that the Taliban were taking the girls as booty in different cities.
To survive, these women are having to not only hide, but are sacrificing the evidence of their vibrant lives before the Taliban takeover.
This is the hardest moment of my life because books have always been my very best friend, and now I have to make a very hard decision. I have to bury all my books because I am afraid of Taliban finding those books and punishing me for those.
I go to the university to participate in future of my country and to have a good job. But now All my life destroyed, all the times I spent for making true my dreams. We don't know what will they decide about our lives.
This woman, who's an air traffic controller, tried going to work at the Kabul airport.
The airport is in a very bad conditions right now. It's very bad. So I really don't know what to do. I'm still waiting for other people to call me because I have worked as a traffic controller in the airport with Americans. So I'm waiting for their response.
It took her hours to get to the airport amid the chaos, only to find her workplace destroyed.
Actually, I'm panicked right now. I don't know what I'm saying or what I'm doing.
The woman, who is an air traffic controller, was able to get on a flight. She is now safe. But she is one of the lucky ones. Other women are left behind, fearful of what the Taliban might do next.
It is like we have lost everything. I have lost my job. I have lost my freedom. I have lost my friends. I have lost going out and breathe fresh air. And every time that there is a knock on the door, I think they are coming for me. They are there for me because I have worked with international agencies.
I want everyone who hears my voice to pray for the liberation of my country and to pray for the girls to have choice about their lives. Never trust the Taliban. Taliban are the ones who killed primary students only because they were Shia. They're the ones who blew up innocent people only because they were Hazara. Never trust them.
We do not want them to leave the country. We want them to serve their own homeland.
The Taliban said in recent statements that we respect human rights and don't hinder the work of all Afghans. Both men and women can continue to work, but we know these are temporary until they consolidate their power. This is just like a coin. On the other side of the coin, every day we see that they kill innocent people, cut off people's hands or blind their eyes. They whip women and girls, but in news they deny their actions.
It's not finishing. This nightmare is not finishing. And I don't know what's going to happen next.
It was an extraordinary story.
A computer salesman was supposed to report to prison to begin a 17-year sentence.
They let him turn himself into jail with no escort.
No one thought he would run.
How do you evade capture for 25 years? How do you do that?
Now, join the search, following the U.S. Marshals as they uncover new leads in a global manhunt. Can you help catch this fugitive?
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man? Listen and join the all-new Hunt wherever you get your podcasts.
It was a scary time. In the 70s, you had multiple bodies showing up in Los Angeles.
There were so many murders happening. You had to have a name for it, serial killer.
There was a human head in there. This was premeditated evil.
You have this clock. This person is going to do this again.
It's me against the killer. Who's going to win?
We'll see who laughs last.
What came next was unlike anything they had ever seen.
World News Now.
And America This Morning.
The best new videos.
Breaking news overnight.
Your money and concerns about inflation.
The pandemic is not over.
The stories people are talking about.
You don't want to shave your legs? Don't. I was gonna say. And what to expect in the day ahead.
From the top of the world, baby!
ABC World News Now and America This Morning.
Weekday morning starting at 2 a.m. Eastern.
Up all night to keep you up to date.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back. We're surrounded by people squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
You never know what you're gonna get on this show. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yes, Whoopi!
Is this mic on? Can you hear me out there?
Behind the scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what people don't see during the commercial breaks.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into.
That day that we walked out, I treasure that day. I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good. Oh, yeah, baby.
It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Is that the gun?
That's not the gun.
What is it? I won't ask you again then. Are you a Nazi?
The deeper you go into black markets,
you put people in your life at risk.
the darker it gets.
Why hasn't anyone come out and spoken?
It's about the money. That's why we do it.
Trafficked. New episodes Wednesdays at 9 on National Geographic.
Right now, with so much at stake, Sunday mornings, this is the place. Taking on all the tough questions. Straightforward reporting. No spin, no hype, no bull. Thank you for making ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos the #1 Sunday morning news show versus the competition.
Welcome to This Week.
More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
Understand what happened to January 6th, you really have to rewind the clock to really look at where that anti-government movement started from.
We came from an era of Ruby Ridge, Waco,
the Bundy Ranch.
Federal agents clashing with protesters, some from armed militia groups.
This constant drumbeat of the federal government taking away their rights.
Trump's presidency legitimized the fringe ideas, and it says it's okay. You have Trump encouraging these agitators.
Let me tell you, this election was rigged.
Be there on January 6th. That is an invitation.
And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
It's easy to miss the slow boil. And in a lot of ways, the militia movement is arguably the slow boil.
If you have millions of people willing to believe lies, is it any surprise that you could have a January 6th?